ESPN has recently been putting out rankings where they interviewed 50 league executives, coaches, scouts, players, and they ranked the 10 best players at each position. Some gave their best 10 to 15. So if you see Zeke at number 11 as his lowest ranking, that is why. And what these lists have made us realize is that there's a lot of incompetent executives. There's a lot of incompetent people with jobs in the NFL. And it made us think we should have jobs in the NFL. Isaiah, what was your biggest gripe with the wide receiver rankings to start off with?
Well, first off, it made me think that I should have a job in the NFL. I know you shouldn't have a job in the NFL. But my biggest gripe with the wide receiver rankings, they had Julio Jones at number 1, as they should. He's clearly the best wide receiver in football right now, bar none. Someone had Julio Jones as the 7th best wide receiver. Who in their right minds is putting Julio Jones, the most physically gifted receiver ever, not named Randy Moss or Calvin Johnson, at 7?
They're the losers.
Was Michael
and the haters.
Thomas consulted on this list? If whoever did this is an idiot. I think you're an idiot if you have him anywhere lower than 3. In fact, I have an idiot if you think he's anywhere lower than 1, but that's a different discussion. Again, you can have a conversation about Thomas being better than him, but it's not 7th. I just don't get the people who've put ahead of it. Like, you can make an argument for Julio being the 7th best wide receiver ever, let alone currently, and they've got him all the way down there. It is disgraceful, it is despicable, and it's from someone in the Saints organization who is bitter that Julio Jones is the best wide receiver in the division.
I'm in full agreement with you on this one. Julio hasn't gone under 1,390 yards since 2013. And when you rank him the 7th best in the league, I don't think you know what you're doing. We don't know who ranked him there, but I'm pretty... If their name was out there, they'd be getting rolled in the media. The only ones I think you can argue over Julio Jones is Michael Thomas and DeAndre Hopkins at this point. Odell would have been my number 1 a few years ago, but since he's joined Baker and the Browns, he's
no longer on your team.
He's been much worse for the Browns, and I think everyone can see that and agree with that. And
since he's not on your team, but
with having Julio at 7, that means people, whoever put him at 7, when they're making a roster, he wouldn't make the roster, and they probably wouldn't make their second roster, which is absolutely ridiculous, as Isaiah kind of elaborated to.
Hey, practice squad Julio Jones, your cornerbacks will be getting a very, very diligent practice in.
And the same argument applies for the smooth-brained individuals who ranked Michael Thomas and DeAndre Hopkins at 6 on their list. Those 3 are the best 3 in the NFL right now. And if you want to rank one above the other, that's okay. And
no, it's not. Julio's the best.
Isaiah thinks Julio's the best. A receiver who is slept on as elite, in my opinion, because people see him as just speed, is Tyreek Hill. A lot of people think he just runs up and down the field. And whoever put them at 11 needs to reevaluate their life choices. They're probably the type of people who pour milk into the bowl first and then eat it with a fork. He's the fastest player in the NFL and is a walking touchdown. If you don't put his safety over the top and double him, he's going to score, especially with Mahomes as his quarterback. His route running, I think, is underrated. He can catch the ball really well, which you need to do to be a receiver. And whoever put him at 11, you can fill out 2.5 rosters before they would want Tyreek Hill on their team. I know people are going to say Tyreek Hill's off the field issues. They wouldn't want to deal with that. But this list was strictly based off their skill and ability to affect the game. Tyreek Hill is a massive game changer, and anyone who has him at 11 is off their rocker.
I disagree with you. I personally would not put him at 11, but there is a very real argument for there being 10 better receivers. And you're going to say, oh, the off-the-field stuff doesn't matter. If I'm looking to put Tyreek Hill on my team, it matters a lot. I think he may not be the most intelligent individual, and the stuff with breaking his kid's arm allegedly, I don't like that. But that's taken away from what I'm going to say here. He plays in the best offense in football for someone like him. Without Andy Reid and without Patrick Mahomes, I greatly question how effective Tyreek Hill would be. And this is a list based off how good these receivers are on their own merits. And because I know you're going to ask for it, I did compile a list of 10 wide receivers. Let's start with the obvious ones. I take Julio Jones over him. I take Odell over him. I take DeAndre Hopkins over him. I take Michael Thomas over him. I take Evans over him. And then we start getting some questionable ones. I got A.J. Green over him. If healthy, he is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL and a surgical route runner. Then you've got Stefon Diggs, a deep threat who finally has someone who can air it out to him. Not as fast as Hill, certainly not, but a better route runner and has better hands. You have Adam Thielen, a consistent receiver who will always put up elite numbers and might be the best route runner in the NFL.
Sounds like some homer picks right there.
A little bit of a homer pick. Diggs isn't on my team anymore, but it's also not my team. And then you have Devontae Adams, who, again, surgical route runner, will always be very productive and will be the number one target of any team he's on. If you say, oh, none of those picks make sense, you're an idiot. There is a legitimate conversation for Tyreek Hill not being as good as every single one of those players.
Were those 10 players? Sorry, I didn't count.
I also did not include Amari Cooper, who, again, amazing route runner, consistent, who puts up good numbers, and Chris Godwin, who had one of the best receiver seasons in a good long while, since maybe Josh Gordon, I'd say. In a mere 14 games, he burst on the scene last year. There's a very good conversation to him, particularly with Tom Brady throwing to him.
I mean, Tyreek Hill's been in the league for 4 years now. His rookie year, he wasn't as polished as a receiver, and last year he struggled with injury, missed a couple games. But in 2018, he had 1,400 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns, and his average yards per reception was at 17 yards. He's developed as a route runner. He won the Chiefs the Super Bowl because of that jet chip wasp, whatever that play is called.
No, the Chiefs defense and Jimmy Garoppolo won the Chiefs the Super Bowl, let's be honest. But you saying there's no conversation for 10 people being better than him is an ignorant take.
I think people are underrating. You're underrating his speed when you put him at 11, because I think he affects the game.
You will notice that John Ross is not on this list,
because John Ross doesn't have the route running, nor does he have the hands that Tyreek Hill has. Tyreek Hill makes some wild catches.
Yes, and everyone on this list makes some wild catches.
Especially that one where he jumped over the guy at the end zone and then dove back.
We're gonna put Jerome Simpson on this list for his wild performance of jumping over someone at the end zone.
No, but I also don't think he's in the league anymore.
Jerome Simpson is no longer in the league. But that's enough talking about wide receivers. Let's move on to the most important position on the field in quarterbacks. And there were a few ones which stuck out to me as terrible with their lowest rankings or highest rankings. But the biggest gripe I have, the collective put Lamar Jackson at 6. Lamar Jackson at 6 is puzzling. The most mobile quarterback ever, a great passer, and playing in one of the best offensive systems in the league, built around him so he can succeed. I don't get 6. The people placed higher than them were a 41-year-old Drew Brees, who is slowly regressing to the point of being a system quarterback with the Saints offense, and Deshaun Watson, who just lost his best weapon and will never find success in Houston, and still cannot put up the stats that Lamar can. I don't get those picks being ahead of him. If you want to say Wilson's better, fine. If you want to say Aaron Rodgers is better, I'll disagree with you, but fine. Those are both amazing arm talents. But 6 is a joke and a slight, and Lamar Jackson will be back next year to prove these people wrong.
I'm in agreement with Isaiah. Him at 6 is absurd after an MVP season. You're not going to put him any higher. His lowest ranking was 12. That tells you that there's someone out there that if they're forming their own team, they're taking 11 quarterbacks before they take the MVP of the league, who had historic numbers. What was it, 41 passing touchdowns, like 7? We went over that in our last video.
Our quarterback tier list, and no, that was a Patrick Mahomes too. But go watch those videos.
And some NFL wizard ranked Patrick Mahomes as the 4th best quarterback in the NFL. That means if they're forming their own team and they're making a roster, Patrick Mahomes isn't even backing up. He isn't even the 3rd string on that team. Someone genuinely thinks that. They don't deserve a job in the NFL. Someone thinks Russell Wilson's the 9th best quarterback in the NFL. Clearly they don't watch the Seahawks, and clearly they didn't see Russell Wilson carry a bad defense, a team with running backs that were on the hospital. They pulled Marshawn Lynch and I can't remember the other guy's name off the street late in the season to compete in the playoffs, and they almost beat the 49ers, who went on to go to the Super Bowl. Someone has him as a 9th best quarterback in the NFL. That is crazy to me. And that's my basic outrage with the quarterback list. I thought it was a bit curious. Aaron Rodgers was so high. I didn't think he'd be that high. I still think he's a really good quarterback, but I didn't expect him overall to come in at 3.
Maybe if he talked to his parents more, he'd be at 2.
I mean, like, the Packers were the worst 13-3 team ever last year. And I also found it quite hilarious that someone ranked Drew Brees as the 11th ranked quarterback when he throws for 12,000 yards every year and completes like 75% of his passes.
My thoughts on Drew Brees have already been expressed in this video, so I'm not going to get into that. But someone put Matthew Stafford as the 4th best quarterback in the league. Matthew Stafford has missed the playoffs for about 85 straight years now and puts up really good numbers while not winning anything. Quite a curious pick. They call him Stat Pat for a reason. But these are terrible quarterback picks in the year. The quarterbacks are by far the worst part of this list, in my opinion. The range of people saying that Patrick Mahomes is 4, Lamar Jackson's 12, it's terrible. It's terrible.
I mean, there's also someone who put Dak Prescott as number 4 on the list.
Hey, man,
maybe
go
number
Cowboys.
4 fantasy quarterback. Definitely not number 4 as far as elevating a team. Anyway, running backs. The running back was, as a Giants fan, seeing Zeke at number 11, even I have to disagree with that. That is crazy to me. You cannot tell me there are 10 better running backs in the NFL than Ezekiel Elliott. 1,300 rushing yards last year, 12 touchdowns, averaging 4.5 yards a carry. That's no joke. You could be running behind 2 Tyron Smiths and 3 Quentin Nelsons, and those are still elite numbers. You can't take away from that. He needs to be in the top 5. In my opinion, he's the 3rd best running back, maybe 4th behind Derrick Henry.
For the record, Ezekiel Elliott is listed as the 3rd best running back on this list. The lowest rank of him was 11. That was not stated.
That is, Isaiah's correct. I can't believe that there's someone out there, even as a Giants fan, and disliking the Cowboys, and being someone who made the argument, well, he gets to run behind an amazing offensive line. You can't have him as 11th best. He's still a great running back.
If he wasn't placed at 3rd, I'd have some more issues. Zeke's a great running back, obviously. I'm not going to have too many gripes with some of these top guys, but Alvin Kamara being at 4 when he's got to compete with Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders for touches, that's puzzling to me. He's not going to be anywhere near as productive as these guys. You can say it's about who's better. What would Alvin Kamara do if he wasn't in this great Saints offense? I don't think he'd do much. I think he would just be some guy. He'd be an above average guy, but you wouldn't want to build your team around him, and putting him at 4 is stupid. But my biggest gripe, this makes me pound my fist on the table and scream up at the sky and rage against modern NFL scouts, coaches, and executives. They put the most dominant runner in all of football at 5. That is a joke. Derrick Henry is the most physically powerful running back since Earl Campbell, and they put him at 5. It's like they didn't watch last season. It's like they're basing this off his 2018 campaign, and they didn't even see the playoffs. When given full control of his offense, Derrick Henry can win you a game by eating the clock slowly but surely. He can take 8, 9, 10 minutes off the clock with one drive. And you can say it's with that Titans offense. It's with Ryan Tannehill under center. That doesn't matter. You can put him on a terrible team, and he would still 4 yards, cloud of dust up the middle every play. In my opinion, he's the best running back in football. I want guys like that on my team. I take him over Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey. You can argue Christian McCaffrey is a modern running back who catches the ball. I don't care. I don't need you to catch the ball if you're my running back. You can go straight for 4 yards and win me the game. Saquon Barkley has never put up anything close to Henry's last season. And neither of those two has ever taken over in the playoffs like Derrick Henry has. You want to look up the stat? You want to look up Saquon's best year and Derrick Henry's best year and weep as a Giants fan?
I mean,
congratulations.
Saquon's best year is better than Derrick Henry's best year. He had over...
You're an idiot. He had 1,300 yards his rookie year, and Derrick
He had over
Henry
2,000 all-purpose yards and was the all-purpose yards leader his rookie year, Isaiah.
Good for him. Did that equate to winning? No, it did not equate to winning. And he's also regressed.
He was also playing injury. He was also playing behind an awful offensive line, and Derrick Henry was playing behind an excellent run-blocking offensive line, and his defense was pretty solid, so...
Derrick Henry is more physically dominant than Saquon Barkley. And let's be real about this here. Derrick Henry's defense is not the one rushing for 1,500 yards.
I'm going to say Barry Sanders isn't physically dominant because he didn't run people over, just ran around people.
Are you really going to sit here and tell me that Saquon Barkley is more physically dominant than Derrick Henry? Are you going to expose yourself as a homer and a fool in front of all 24 of the viewers?
Saquon Barkley is more physically gifted than anyone in the NFL right now. He can do everything. He's like 230 plus pounds. I'd probably say close, if not the fastest running back at the position, most shifty running back at the position. This leads me to what else I was going to talk about the list. Someone ranked Saquon Barkley as the 6th best player. I bet Skip Bayless somehow snuck
6th best running back.
6th best running back, sorry. I bet Skip Bayless somehow snuck his vote in for that. There's no way anyone can put Saquon Barkley at 6th. He is the most talented running back in the NFL. All-purpose yards leader his rookie year. Still made 1,000 yards last year when he was banged up, missed 2 games, and the other games he didn't perform so well because of that high ankle sprain or whatever it is. He also came back quickly from that high ankle sprain when he wasn't even supposed to be playing. Most players wouldn't be playing through that.
You're going to applaud him for coming back from an injury. Congratulations. Woohoo. Also, he played 13 games, not 14.
I mean, that just increases my point, but
Get your facts right.
because I mean, I still think Derrick Henry's a great running back. For me, he's either 3 or 4 in the NFL as far as taking running backs. I'd probably take him over Zeke. Maybe would put Zeke ahead of him. Saquon and Chris McCaffrey are my 1 and 2. They're very similar in the way they play. Both are excellent out of the backfield.
I don't think you understand football with that placement, and I'm going to get into this again because I think
apparently I never understand football, and Isaiah is a big genius because he played left bench for Furman University.
Hey, that was right bench. Get it right, kid. But no, did you watch any Titans games last year? That's a baited question because I know nobody watched Titans games last year.
I understand
but
that
that's what
Henry
their
runs
offense
people
did.
over.
You can say, oh, he's not as good a receiver. He's got a higher catch rate than Saquon Barkley, by the way. You can say, oh, he runs people over, oh, and all that. He's got ridiculous speed, but he doesn't have to use it all the time because he just dominates the time possession. He is the counter to the modern NFL moving away from the running back. He is the one player who can make an offense seem like an old school style offense, even with less touches than some of the elite running backs of the past like Adrian Peterson. He is so physically capable and so gifted in his style of running that he can take the NFL back 10 years. Saquon Barkley can't say that. Christian McCaffrey is trying to bring the NFL into the future, and he's losing that tug of war to Derrick Henry.
Well, Saquon can bring the NFL to the future, and you're saying catch percentage. Saquon, his rookie year, had 721 receiving yards, and like I said earlier, over 2,000 all-purpose yards. Saquon's rookie year was very impressive. How many years has it taken Derrick Henry to reach this point? It was his
I'm
fourth
sorry.
or
Was
fifth
last year Saquon Barkley's rookie year?
No.
Oh, so you're saying that
But
based off his rookie
last
year, not
year.
his recent.
He was injured.
Okay.
I mean, you made the statement earlier that said Saquon's best year isn't better than Derrick Henry's best year when it's
not.
Better. It is.
It really isn't. Congratulations. He had more yards. He wasn't as good a player. I don't know what you want me to say. If you want to throw stats in my face, fine. You can win that metaphorical argument. But Derrick Henry was better last year than any running back I've seen.
How is a statistical argument metaphorical?
Peterson.
That's the dumbest. You just said a statistical
if you want to call that a win,
metaphorical.
fine. Good for you. Again, you didn't watch the Titans play. You didn't watch Derrick Henry's
You're
film.
telling me you
and
watched the
evidently
Titans
did
play
watch
week in
the
and
play.
week out?
No, but I'm capable of watching film, unlike some people I'm talking to.
You watched his 12-minute highlight tape on YouTube produced by some channel with 12,000 subscribers.
With more views than we'll ever have, by the way. But no, I actually watched this film. It's something which you don't really seem to love doing, but hey.
I mean,
that's why I think Andrew Thomas will be a good pick at 4. But again, you're going to try and get into me like, oh, you don't watch film. I watch film. Don't get yourself embarrassed. I would rather have a physically dominant player
watches film, ladies and gentlemen,
than someone who has already been injured in their career of 2 years and is stuck in a poor system while not being as physically gifted. I think that's pretty self-evident. I guess we're going to title this video, Who Do You Think Is Better, Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley?
That has been our video covering the NFL executives' rankings of every position. Let us know if you think it's as egregious as we do. Let us know what you think about the Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley debate, or do you think another running back is the best in the league? Leave us a like, subscribe, it would really help us out. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter where we've been posting a lot more, and we'll see you next time.